Hello, everybody. Welcome and welcome back again on another episode on the Everything Vibes with Bambi. I am your host, Bumi Oloritoba, and you're welcome to my show. Guys, on today's episode, I have a very special guest with me that, I feel he's the appropriate and perfect person to talk about this particular topic that I want to discuss. And he's no other than Mr. Roy Omobare. Mr. Roy, thank you so much for coming here on the show with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Miss Boomy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here on the show. And guys, on today's topic, we will be discussing everything that concerns self-growth, and that cut across, the importance of self-growth, what self-growth actually means, and why we need to work on ourselves on different levels, and that cut across, mentally, financially, spiritually, on every level, why it is important for us to grow. So I'm going to be asking Uncle Roy here. I refer to him as Uncle Roy. So I'm going to be asking Uncle Roy here a lot of questions, or some questions on self-growth, and we're going to have the conversation. Thank you for listening. All right. So Uncle Roy, what would you say self-growth really means? When I say self-growth, what does it actually mean?
Well, for me, the first thing that comes to mind, because as you mentioned, there's different aspects.
Yeah.
And for me, I would say at this point in my life is on the spiritual aspect.
Okay.
And, a lot of that has come from drastic changes in my life in the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
As you can hear, I have an American accent. Mm-hmm. I grew up in America. I'm 41 years old. So 35 to 36 years I've been in America. Now I'm in Nigeria, and there has been a lot of changes and a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And just a lot of not so happy times.
Yeah. Rough times.
Right.
Good times.
And to be honest, I think that's where all growth is birthed and nourished.
From the rough time.
From the rough time. It's kind of like a diamond.
Yeah.
You can't find a diamond without pressure.
Yeah, it has to go through pressure.
Right. So that's how I feel about my life. And at this point, especially in this time, in this world right now, with the COVID-19 and everything that goes along with it, regardless of what you believe, the world is changing.
Definitely, it is.
So these are the things that help me to grow. By trying to maintain my principles, the principles of my mother and father, and what has been passed down to them, and they also have passed down to me.
All right. So yeah, that's really good. That's a good one. So on today's right now, we're going to be we're going to try as much as possible to cover everything the self-growth. And that means spiritual self-growth, financial self-growth, mental self-growth, and otherwise. But I want to start off first with spiritual self-growth. What does it mean, and how can somebody grow spiritually?
Well, that goes back to the struggle. I think that you can be financially buoyant and go through more struggle than somebody that has nothing, and vice versa. So it's all about the struggle, and the saying goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it can break you or make you. Certain things in life. One thing you don't want to do is, there's different ways that struggle can break you. You can just go through it, go through the storm, or you can be fake and live a double life. And we all have secrets, right? There's nobody that's, that does not have secrets and have things that they're not too proud of. Yeah. Right?
Definitely.
But I think the strength lies in trying to at least face it. Just face it.
What I'm actually trying to get to is spiritual self-growth.
Yeah. I feel like if you get through it, it happens spiritually. I don't think that, any struggle that you go through happens, I don't think you make it to the other side because of anything other than your faith, whatever that is, you know, because you can get it. You can even ask a gambler. You can't cure gambling with money. You know, they will just gamble more money. You see what I'm saying? But to face that demon, you will need that faith.
Yeah, faith in whatever it is.
Whatever that is true to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that just, and to be honest, like, you just have to, you know, just follow some fundamentals. Always be grateful. Always be grateful, and try not to judge other people. Because let's say for instance, your vices, right, are maybe gossiping or being promiscuous or whatever it is. I should not judge you based on that. You know, and the reason why is because, trust me when I say I have my own.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because we don't share the common
kind of
demonic activities does not mean that, you know, one is past the other.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's just the truth. That's how I feel about it. And that's how you grow spiritually, because to get through anything on the other side and be happy, you have to make it, you know, in this life spiritually.
Yeah.
You understand? And the sooner the better, right?
Yeah, the sooner the better, actually. So, what would you say is the most important thing for spiritual growth? I'm trying to grow spiritually. I'm trying to grow spiritually. So, what is like the first important thing that I should always have in mind?
I would say, like, they always say, try to face your fears and things like that. But I would say just to be grateful. I think it starts with that.
Yeah, gratitude.
Gratitude for all things.
Appreciation.
You know, because there's always something to be grateful for.
There's always, if we just look.
I'm serious. Like, there's more things to be grateful for than to not be grateful for. You know, there's so many things. I mean, and it's not just the typical things like you know, money or cars or even a husband, or there's so many things you should be grateful for. And I think when you stop being grateful, or when you start, in fact, I was reading one book or listening to one audio book. You know, I'm reading In the Truth of Light, which is a good book, and there's one audio book that's also really good. And it was saying that, you know, when you want something, what you're doing is putting your mind and your spirit in a state of I don't have.
Yeah.
So now you're walking, talking, living, and having an energy of I don't have.
That's why I want to, because I don't have it.
Well, it's almost like anytime you want something, you can say it just, it's just like when you say the glass is half full or empty. They're both the same, but it depends on your perspective. Are you a half full person, or are you a half empty person? You know, I'm gonna think half full, you might think half empty, or vice versa. So, you know, when you want something, it's also the same as I don't have. My life is not sufficient. You see what I'm saying? So if you're grateful, you will never be in that state of mind.
All right. So moving on.
I hope I'm answering the questions.
You are.
Okay.
You are actually.
Thank you.
I like all the answers.
This is my first interview, by the way.
And you're doing so well.
Okay.
You're doing so well. The next question I want to ask right now is how important it is, or how will you prioritize financial growth?
How will I prioritize financial growth?
Yeah.
Well, it's important. It's very important. You know, and it's I will always tie everything back to spirituality.
Okay.
I just have to.
Yeah.
Because it's been said so many times, you know, through the millenniums. You know, it's not just now that you can hear this from my mouth, but we are spiritual beings first. living in a physical. Right?
Exactly.
So this physical is for a very short time. You know? So how will I prioritize financial growth? Is you have to be smart. You just have to be smart. But as far as prioritize, it's on the list. It makes the list, but I would not put that as
the top.
It's nowhere near. It's not a close second to what's really important. And I'll say this too. You know, everybody by now, this is what, 2021, everybody has heard of law of attraction, right? Everybody has heard of, you know, karma and, you know, what goes around comes, all of these things, right? But have you ever noticed that if you read any How to Be a Millionaire books, you know, like Thinking Like a Millionaire, that's one popular book that most people know. They basically teach the law of attraction. You don't look for money first. You don't seek money first. There are things that you must do first. And these books the titles are based on how to get money. And money is the last objective to chase. It's not even on the list of these books that help you to be a millionaire.
Exactly.
So if you look for money, basically what you're doing is there's a lot of things you're doing, but if you're on that mind state, just think about this. You're like 99% of the people you know. You're no different.
Wow.
So if you want to be like that 1% that you also know about, but you don't know them, but you know about them. If you want to live like nobody you know, you must also live your life like nobody you know. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's something that you have to, you can't put it as a priority if you're thinking just money or wealth even. All right. If anybody grabs one of those books, you'll see that, you know, one of the things they talk about, many things they talk about, but they'll talk about how you prioritize your time. You know, do you put yourself first? You know, do you waste time with, you know, with dead weight? You know, people in your life that are just talking and taking your energy because you're talking back.
Yeah.
Or you even listening is draining you. I was watching a terrible movie earlier today and I got tired. It drained me because the movie sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, now let's move on from financial growth to mental growth. Now, for somebody that is trying to overcome mental depression and they're trying to, you know, grow their mind mentally, how is that possible? Is there a key for that?
Depression?
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to overcome depression, mental depression, like real depression. And, you know, I'm trying to like fulfill myself and try to grow mentally. Is there a key for that? Yeah,
I just feel like depression is, I don't want to be an expert on depression because I'll tell you this, I still get depressed. I still get depressed. I still get lonely. I'm human like all, but you know, one thing is you should have that a strong spiritual, you know, backbone. Yeah. It's just key. It's necessary. But there's different kind of depressions. I have family members, you know, that suffer that. But there's just so many different types of depression. I mean, it can stem from, you know, most likely, self-esteem, right? Self-esteem issues. And my most recent depression was, in fact, my self-growth. When you become more enlightened, it's like a gift and a curse. Because everybody else is not enlightened as you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're living in a world. You're living in a reality that is, I don't know. It's like I'm living in two worlds. You know, I'm living, and they're both the real world. My world, which I see things for what it is, you know, or what I believe is,